Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Why are you so giggly?
I don't know.
We have a special guest in the building, Tia Mowry. He's also giggly and laughing. Good morning.
She's like, I don't know what's about to happen.
No, I just love life.
There you go. There's nothing wrong
You know
with
what
that.
I mean? We're all here. It's a blessing. So
You have a new show coming.
yes, I do, and it's called Family Reunion. I'm really excited about it, and it's premiering July 10th soon on Netflix.
And it's an all-black writer's room.
Yes, it is, and I was very, very excited about that. I think it is a funny, incredible show. Having an all-black writers staff, it was just such a great, incredible experience.
Tell us about it. We see it's the old generation versus the new generation.
Yeah, so it's like old school, meets new school, kind of like tradition versus, non-tradition. But it's about a family, the McKellans, and we're from Seattle, Washington, and we end up going to a family reunion in the South in Georgia. We end up saying we want our children, to end up growing up there and living there, and we end up moving into my husband's mom's house, which could get a little, interesting. The grandma, Loretta Devine, she's incredible. She plays the grandma. But yeah, it's a great, funny show, and I'm just so proud of it.
How do you raise your kids? You have 2 kids.
I do.
Congrats on the new baby girl, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah,
Do
she's
you raise
one.
old school, new school, a little bit of both?
I'm non-traditional. Like my daughter, she's still in the bed with my husband and myself.
She's never going to get out. I'm just going to let you know.
No, eventually she will.
No, she's
around.
not?
Well, my
When she's
son.
16.
Huh? No.
When she's 5.
My son, he was out of our bed when he was around 4. So that's
a long
4
time.
is a long time.
Yeah, but even when you put them out, they still gonna find their way back in.
No, I know, but that's what's so beautiful about
Yeah.
it. You know
That's
what I mean?
cool the
They're
first
not
couple
going to
of
be
weeks.
babies forever.
But what about
you know?
when you and your husband want some? You're like, the baby's in the middle.
Clearly, they have no problem getting some because they got babies. You know how this works, right?
No, I mean,
it took 5
There are
years.
there are other places in the house.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
So you guys got to
Yeah.
leave the bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah,
He play you
I
like
mean,
you in a 2-bedroom apartment. just now.
I mean, it makes it fun, So
So you go in their room, you go in the kitchen.
yeah, the closet, the bathroom.
Did you have the experience growing up of not realizing that there were some things that, as Black people, are kind of exclusive to us, that people outside of our culture just don't get? Because sometimes we take it for granted. Like, you're like, I didn't know this was just what we do and what other people don't do.
Yeah, totally.
Like, what are some examples of things that we do in our community that culturally other people just...
One thing that I just love about this show in general is exactly what you're talking about. There's this one scene where, the brother on the show, he's, getting a haircut at home. The barber, you know what I mean? He comes to the house. And some people, they don't get that. They don't, understand that that's just something that we do. Or not only that.
Even to the job, guys get their hair cut at work all the time.
Oh,
the
yeah.
barber comes to them.
Oh, yeah. The barber basically comes to them because, it's all about that lining, and they have to make sure that they have
The
that
barber
proper.
is just as important as a doctor, therapist,
Exactly.
lawyer.
Exactly. So,
But that's new because I couldn't afford that a while ago. I had to go
Yeah,
to the barbershop.
I still go to the barbershop, not just for the
every
camaraderie and the communication, but yeah.
So the white barbershop is different than like the Black guy's barbershop.
I've never been in a
I
white
don't know what
barbershop.
that's
I've never been in a
like.
white
Oh, yeah.
barbershop. I guess they use
I have
scissors.
no idea.
They use a lot of scissors.
I mean, my son gets his, haircut at the house. We have a barber, you know what I mean?
Wow.
He comes to the house, so that's
But you're
just a part.
rich.
No, but I mean, that's just like you said, it's a part of the culture. You know what I mean?
No, it's really not. We gotta let's not throw that
might
out
be
there.
a rich
You gotta be special to have the barber come
mean,
to the house.
The last
But I
couple
guess
of
what I'm
years-
saying is we have a relationship with our barbers.
Yes.
You know
Like
what I
part of the
mean?
family.
They are a part of the family. They are welcome
That's
to
true.
come to the
that's
house
true.
because you just don't bring anybody and everybody
That's right.
up to the house.
That's
So
true.
That's what I mean.
And if the barber is coming to your house, that's probably because he ain't got no license and they kicked him out the barbershop. No. And so now you're making house calls. That is a fact in the
They
hood.
charge a lot
No.
more to come to the crib, though. That's why. That's why.
No.
So-
Also, what I think that's great about family reunion is, the religious kind of aspect about it. You know, I really feel that, you know, growing up, church has always been a part of my life. I feel like with Black culture, church is always a part of, you know, everybody's life. Whether you wanted to go to church or not,
Correct.
you were in church on Sunday. And I just really love that about this show.
All day.
Yes. You know, this show is for us, by us. And what I love about, you know, the writing staff is the stories are very authentic and they're very real. And it makes the show very relatable and very grounded. And that's why I was really, really excited about doing this show.
Have you learned anything new about motherhood now that you have a girl? Because you had a son before, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about having a son, I said, it's amazing.
And
it's,
how old's your son?
My son, he's almost 8. He'll be 8 in June. My son is a part of me, but my daughter, she's an extension of me.
Ooh.
And that's what I've, you know, learned with, you know, just raising my daughter now. And it has been such an amazing, beautiful experience, just seeing her grow into this personality that she is. I mean, she's walking now. She's saying words like mama, dada. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying, you know, raising my daughter.
I wonder how much different her life will be from yours, because you essentially grew up with your best friend your
Right.
whole life. She doesn't have that necessarily.
No, she doesn't. But I mean, I want to be that for her. I mean, I know that there's, you know, your children, you can't necessarily be their best friend. You know what I mean? But I want to be the mom that my daughter can go to and talk to and lean on me and, you know, tell me everything. So I definitely want to be that for my daughter. I did, you know, I do feel like, you know, having a twin and, you know, hi, Tamara, love you. You know, she's definitely, you know, a best friend, and being able to go through life and the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, it has been easier because I've had my sister right there with me, and we get each other and we, you know, understand each other. So it definitely has been helpful to have that. But to answer your question, I really want to be that for my daughter.
Did y'all fight a lot, you and your sister?
You know what? What's so
'Cause I have 5, and the 2 older ones, they fight like crazy.
He doesn't get it because Envy's the only
I'm
child.
only child, so it's like it's always a battle. Like they fight over the smallest thing. Move your leg. Your leg's too close.
No,
you're sitting in my seat.
no,
Like
you know,
they fight.
My sister and I, to say that we never fought, it would be a lie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because
You have
sisters,
to.
you have to.
Especially
Fist
that
fight
close.
though now.
No, I'm not
No,
talking fist
no,
fight.
Not
no,
verbal,
no.
not yelling and screaming. I'm talking about hair grabbing.
No,
I'm not
you
talking
know,
no damn
you know
fist
what?
fight.
And I know this may sound weird, but when you're a twin, you really have this unique, special bond. And just recently, in January, my sister and I, we went to our grandmother's funeral. She ended up passing away in January.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
That's okay. She lived a beautiful, long life. She was almost 90 years old. But my point is that we stayed in a hotel, but we chose to stay in the same room, and we were in the same bed, and we were hugging each other to sleep. And here we are. We're in our 40s. You know what I mean? And that's the bond that we have, that we could have chosen 2 different rooms, and here we are, you know, in the same bed and hugging each other as we go to sleep. And I think it's just special because you're in the womb together, you know what I mean? And you're developing together. Like, we have been with each other since the beginning of time.
Right.
You know what I
Working
mean?
together,
Just all of
living
that.
together.
And
when
then
you
it
were
goes,
younger.
and it goes deeper than that. Like, we have the same DNA. Like, we've come from the same,
Womb.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or even cell that split.
Yeah.
So, sorry to get so deep on you, but to answer your question, of course we have sibling rivalry at times because that's normal. But we do have this unique, special bond that's hard to explain to, you know, certain people.
Are y'all the same or different?
We're very different.
Okay.
We're like night and day. You know what I mean? But she's like my yin to my yang, and I think that's what makes us, you know, strong. Is when you have 2 people that are so alike. That's that's when it gets a little challenging.
Did your
difficult.
mom dress you alike and all that too?
She did.
Did you hate that or love it?
I loved it. Tamara, she didn't like it. Like, we dressed alike all the way up until we were in high school. And I remember...
high school?
High school.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But in that era, though, in the era we grew up in, dressing alike with your best friend was fly.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But my sister, she was all about trying to find her own, individual, persona and all that. But I thought it was really cool. But yes, we are very different, like, night and day. But I think that's what makes us stronger. And as we've gotten older, we've learned to appreciate each other's differences. Because when you're growing up as a twin, society also kind of links you together and sees you as, the same person, really. And for a while, you start to believe that when you're, a twin. But when you get older and you start to date and meet people and, you start to become your own person. And for a while, we had to learn how to respect each other's differences and say, okay, you're different from me. It doesn't mean that you're any less or any better, or your values are any less or any better. We learn from each other. Like, I'm the non-traditional parent. I have the non-traditional parenting styles. My sister's very traditional. But we learn from each other.
What do you consider non-traditional and traditional? Because for me, I think traditional, a lot of that is messed up in a lot of ways.
Non-traditional, in my opinion, means, and just like my character Coco on a Family Reunion, I'm very much like her. It means, in my opinion, just going with the flow. You know what I mean? Not putting so many rules and regulations, on your children. You just allow them to be who they are and grow into who they are, instead of dictating, at this age you need to be away from the bottle, at this age you need to be out of the bed, at this age you need to be doing this.
Your daughter's gonna be in Pampers since she's 12. That's what it sounds like. Your daughter
have you put your son on punishment? Like, do you believe in that?
I was whooped as
That's what I'm saying. That's when you say traditional, that's what I mean. I'm like, that might not have been good. When you say traditional, that's what I think of, because that's how I grew up with a lot of discipline.
And yes, and
I don't think that's good.
Yes. So I did. I grew up with my mom, she was very, very strict, still is. My dad, I grew up being spanked, which it's awesome and it's great, to an extent, if that's the way you want to parent, you know what I mean? But I see it differently as, if you're spanking your child, in my opinion, it's because of you.
Yes.
It's because of you and where you are.
Yes.
In your headspace, you're impatient, you just want to get this done, over with. Whereas I feel like if you don't spare the rod, or if you don't spank
spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yes. Then it takes more time. You have to talk to them. You have to explain. But I feel like there is, in my opinion, a better outcome, because you're explaining and you're saying why, as opposed to, just kind of hitting them. But that's just my opinion. So
your sister pops him. Damn right. Your sister pops him.
She does. She spanks her children. But yeah, I don't. I can't
she wouldn't
spank
your son.
Huh? Oh, no. No.
See, if you think about it, back in the day, it took a village. Like, they would let the aunts spank the kids. I got plenty
and
of
we
spanking
actually
by
talk
my
about
aunt.
we have a scene about that in Family Reunion, where, Madeir, Loretta Devine's character, she brings out her belt.
Yeah, the aunts can
and we
beat you,
talked
grandmas.
about exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
But, that was then.
I agree.
And I feel like this is now. And, so far it's just the way I parent, and it's good. You know what I mean? I don't want, and not that I'm afraid of my mom, but I don't want my children being afraid of me.
I agree.
And that's what I mean. I want them to be able to come to me and tell me anything. Now, of course, there will be times when they're like, I don't want to tell my mom, you know what I mean? But I want them to be able to not be afraid of me.
But clearly y'all were raised right, though, because y'all like two of the few child stars who didn't go crazy.
I know.
I
know. That we know of.
I know.
We don't know what happened behind closed doors.
Y'all might have had a little crazy spurt or something.
I don't see it though. Y'all seem pretty grounded.
We are. We're very grounded, and I do give a lot of credit to my parents. But
who popped you?
But no, see, it wasn't about who popped
Okay.
us. It was about also what they taught us. And what they would always teach us or tell us is, and I was just saying this last night, I was talking with one of my friends, we never allowed the business to define who we are as people. And I feel like, a lot of young stars, they could get caught up in that, that, this business is very fickle. I've been in this business for a very long time. So I've seen the waves. I've seen 1 minute you're hot, you're working, 1 minute you're not. And what happens is when a lot of people get to that, kind of fame status, it goes to their head and then it starts to define who they are.
Right.
Like, this because of that. And it's like, no, that's very dangerous because it's not always going to be like that. So when it drops, fame, attention, money, then, they lose themselves and they lose who they are. So I never defined myself with fame.
You probably had the advantage of having your sister there too, though, to keep you grounded and keep each other grounded.
Yeah. Well, yes. And, it's all about, like what I said, what my parents, engraved in me, and then my support system. And, I had friends I have a lot of friends that aren't in the business. So they keep you grounded. They're like, okay, great, that's awesome, but I don't.
Would you want your kids to be in TV and film?
Yeah, it's so funny. Someone asked me that earlier today too, and my son actually did an episode of Family Reunion.
Oh, wow.
And he killed it. He was freaking amazing. That he actually has an agent.
Wow, so you paid him.
Is he part of SAG?
Y'all paid him. Was it for
the union?
Yeah, he has an agent and a manager now. But to answer your question, I don't mind him being in the business as long as there are, those regulations in regards to. I don't want him to just depend on acting. I want him to diversify. Like the same thing, kind of like what I'm doing. I have a YouTube channel, Tia Mowry's Quick Fix, and then I'm in the culinary world. I have my, own cooking, show, and then I'm also an actor. And that keeps me working and not so just focused on, acting, because there's a lot of rejection that comes along with that. And I don't want him to ever struggle in that way. So I would mind him being an actor, but I would want him to focus on other things. And at the end of the day, for me, it's as long as he's happy, as long as he has a smile on his face, and whatever that is, then go ahead, do you.
You talked about, when the fame dies down, and a lot of times that leads to depression and people start using drugs and self-medicating. Have you ever been in that space?
No. And again, I think it's mainly because I was supported, and my mom and my dad, they always protected us from that moment. And what I mean by protected us from that moment is prepared us for that moment.
Put your money up and all that stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah. So save. She used to always say this. She said, you're riding in limousines now, which is awesome. And it's great, but it's not always going to be like that. And
damn,
when you're,
Mom.
When you're young and you hear that, it's kind of like, why you hating? You know what I mean? Or like,
putting that negative energy on.
Yes, but it was the truth, and so she prepared us for those moments. So when it happened, again, it wasn't like, oh my God, what happened? Like, she prepared us for that. And then also I had, my sister. And then after the show, we went to school. So we kept ourselves, we were never idle with our minds. You know what I mean? So when we were done with that, we went to Pepperdine University, we studied, graduated. So we were always moving.
Oh, Tia, you know what I wanted to ask you? Because you guys have been in this business for so long and you've seen a lot of things happen from when you first started up until today. What are some major changes that you've seen? And have you ever felt disrespected, like behind the scenes, by a director, an agent, anybody like that?
When you say major changes, you mean like within the business?
Yeah, just within the business, just how people are treated and even opportunities that are available.
That's a very interesting question. Because, yes, I've been in this business for a very long time.
And I know you've seen an evolution from...
I have. I think, there are pros and cons, I think the positives that I've seen is it's nice to see that there are more Black women, in my opinion, being the center of television shows. Viola Davis, Kerry Washington. That's very rewarding.
Taraji.
Yeah, Taraji, to see. Do I feel like there needs to be, more improvement? Of course. But again, and I hate to keep on bringing it back to the show, but I think that's what's just so different and refreshing and wonderful about Family Reunion is that we do have this all Black writer staff.
Right.
Because, I've been on a part of 4 television shows, Sister Sister, The Game, Instant Mom. The Game was a little different, you know what I mean? Because we had, Mara, and we did have some Black writers there. But on Sister Sister and even Instant Mom, it was difficult seeing certain writers write about what they think being Black or what they think of a Black family is like.
I hate that.
And there are many times where I would voice my opinion and say, that's not, I really don't like the way you're depicting or writing about
the stereotype.
Yes, and there were several. So what's so awesome about this show is it's not a writer writing about a perception or an idea or an opinion or a thought of what they think a Black family is like.
They know.
And they've lived these moments.
I saw you said that Loretta Devine said when she's doing things that she has to make sure, would my character say something like this and give feedback? Have you always felt like, even when you were younger, did you feel like you had the power to do that?
No. And that's what's so awesome about sitting down and just acting with Loretta is seeing her use her voice. You know what I mean? Especially as a woman and as a Black woman. It's so beautiful to see on set. And growing up in this business, I did feel like, okay, well then that's what's being said, and printed out. So that's what I'm going to say and do. But as I've gotten older and even worked with Loretta, she will not say anything or do anything that she doesn't feel is authentic to her character or just to the story. And it's even as simple as just moving from point A to point B. Like if a director's telling her to move or go somewhere or to pick up a plant, she's like, why would I do that? and I had never been in a position where I would see someone have those questions. And she does it so gracefully and just with lots of respect. So, yeah, again, to answer your question, I have seen some improvement in this business, but that's what I just love about this show is, and even with Netflix, I will say this, they are allowing us to be authentic to our culture. They are allowing us to talk about church, talk about, baptisms, talk about, how important church is to, Black culture. But it's also coming from a real grounded place.
Right.
And they're allowing us to tell stories like we talk about police brutality in some of our episodes with my sons on the show. We talk about gender roles, about, just because you're a boy doesn't mean that you have to, play, sports and be a football player. My son loves to bake, and that's kind of like another thing, traditional versus non-traditional. I'm very much that way in real life too. Like if you see my children, their names are Cree and Cairo, and it's very unisex, both of their names. Cairo could be either a boy or a girl. Cree could either be a boy or a girl. And I'm all about that as well. Right. Just letting kids evolve and being who they want to be here.
I've seen parents freak out because their son put on the mom's heels or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just like they're not thinking I want to be.
Well, I don't want him to sprain his ankle.
Well, but
You know
people
how
don't
hard
have
it
a
is to walk in
problem
heels if you
if
don't
their
know how to walk
daughter
in
does
heels.
it. If their
Have you
daughter
tried?
does it,
I
they
don't
don't
want
have
the
a
daughter to do
problem.
it
It's
either.
like, oh, that's
I don't let my daughter put my
cute.
Timbs on because they'll fall. They be putting them big ass shoes on.
Anyway,
That's
But
what it's about.
you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
It was always a rumor that y'all converted Mace back in the day. Like y'all are the ones that made Mace leave rap
Oh
and
my
go to
God.
Christianity.
That was such a long time ago. I have to really think back. I don't think it was us that converted Mace. I think that was just we were just there around that time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they said y'all met on a video set. And
We did. We met on a
started hitting
video
him with
set.
Bible scriptures and he cried. And
No.
okay, I made that part up.
What are you talking
But I
about?
did hear that y'all can help convert him.
maybe
No,
you did.
I don't. Maybe I did, and I don't know that I did. But we were just being, ourselves. And
Maybe
if
said it in a song.
he did,
No, I'm kidding.
oh, see, I think it was just refreshing for him to see. You know what I mean?
He was probably at
And-
a bad time at that time, and he needed you guys in his life.
yeah, and so we, here we are, like you said, giddy. Here we are. Just I try to see the positive in everything.
So are y'all religious people?
Huh?
Are y'all,
No, I don't.
Yes,
No,
we
yeah, I
listen.
haven't spoken to him in a long time. Huh?
Are y'all very religious people? Or?
I
Uh-oh.
okay. Religion.
You're spiritual, not religious.
Yes.
Okay.
So
She wanted to say
religion.
that right.
Yeah.
You're still scared of your mom a little bit. That's why you have to say that right.
Yeah.
You believe in God, but probably not organized religion. So
I
much.
believe in God.
Yeah.
But one thing that I love about Coco, like the character that I play, like I said, she's very much like me. I respect all religions.
Yes.
And there's something in every religion that I'm fascinated with. I'm fascinated with Judaism because I'm so fascinated with how devoted they can be to God. That on Fridays, they will not even use any, they won't use electricity.
Mm-hmm.
They won't eat off your plates.
Yeah,
There's all
that
kinds of rules.
I think that's so amazing. And then I went to the Vatican, Catholicism. I'm so intrigued with, that whole, I don't know what you would call it, but, religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then even Christianity. So my point is, or Buddhism, like I take little bits. And if you think about it, it's all the same. There's everything. There's a correlation. There's everybody has a God, right? So, in my opinion, I think it's all amazing and beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now,
So-
your sister was on the reel, and she said
Yes.
that your parents got divorced. Has that
Yes.
affected you?
In your later years too, right?
Yes. No. And I will say this. I feel like, again, in religion, some people say you shouldn't, get divorced and really
People stay together just because.
Exactly.
not
So the
supposed
reason
to.
why I have not been affected is because they are both happy.
Dope.
They are so happy.
And they got divorced recently?
It was maybe a few years ago. I would say maybe like 5 to 7 years ago.
How long were they married?
They were married for a very long time. I would say like 30-something years.
Wow.
Yeah. But, they're cordial and they're both very happy. So if I can see that my parents are happy, that's all that matters.
How was it growing up? Were they fighting? Was it a lot of tension?
No.
Or was
Nope, not at all. My mom and my dad, they had a beautiful marriage. Some people, they just get older and they grow.
And they wait for the kids to grow up too sometimes. They're like, okay, the kids are
Yeah,
all grown
could
now.
be. Yeah. Yeah.
My parents waited till we graduated from college to get divorced. And
Oh,
they're like,
wow.
okay,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
your parents
Yeah.
got divorced? Yeah, I could have sworn your parents always together. They still go on trips together. They damn,
'Cause-
they're together all the time, I thought.
Yeah, but they're divorced.
Oh shoot, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it was, it's been great for them. And if they're happy, then I'm happy. And it's not like, we're not a family or a unit anymore. So, and we were older, so maybe that could be why,
Well, Tia has to go, guys.
I see Tia I feel like I've been seeing Tia every around this time of year every year for the past few years.
Really?
Yeah, it's just somewhere else though.
Oh, okay.
It's on an island.
Oh.
I think that's you. Maybe that was Tamara.
Wait, where?
It's got a
Hawaii?
little difference.
Anguilla.
That's me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's Corey.
Anguilla.
Stalker.
Yeah.
I love Anguilla. I was just telling my friend that that's some of the best food I've had.
Yes, I used to see you and Corey there
Yep.
with my wife at least for at least 3 years in a row.
My husband is a huge fan. by the
He
way.
was like, I hope that was you with Corey.
Huge.
Yeah, looking like what are y'all?
That is funny. No, but he's a huge fan.
When the last time you been?
Anguilla, I would say maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because we've been hitting Hawaii now.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
She
So-
said,
Closer.
Yeah,
Than
it
you.
is. That's what I'm saying because it's a hop, a skip, and a jump.
Yeah,
Charlamagne,
you
gotta get-
I see him out there now. We
No,
gotta move
you
to
got to get on
Hawaii.
a plane,
Right.
seen her like
another
3 or 4 times
plane, a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long flight from LA.
It is.
Yeah.
And then that boat ride from St. Martin.
It's like a 2-day trip.
So, yeah. So,
I get
no, it with 2 kids, you're like, let's just go to Hawaii.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for joining us.
Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much. And you guys definitely have to support the show.
Yes, I saw the
So.
trailer, so I'm excited to watch it.
All right. Well, it's Tia Mowry. It's the
Yay.
Breakfast Club. Good morning.